Well, welcome back to Lesson 4 in the module, Organizing Your Campaign. In this lesson, we'll look at creating the campaign vision and message. In war, then, let your great object be victory, not lengthy campaigns. Thus it may be known that the leader of armies is the arbiter of the people's fate, the man on whom it depends whether the nation shall be in peace or in peril. From Sun Tzu, The Art of War, as edited by James Clavell, Dell Publishing, 1983. Once you have identified the issues and determined why people believe you are the best person to champion them, you must begin to develop your campaign message. Now, as we pointed out in the last lesson, you need to answer the question of why should people bother to vote for you and or your cause. They need to believe that you care about what they care about. They believe you are qualified to do something about those things. And therefore you must establish a link between a campaign issue and a shared value. There are 3 levels of doing this. The first is the issue level. What are the specifics? The second is the idea level. What are the philosophical whys and why nots of the issue? And the third is the value level. Does what you propose resonate with their deeply held values and beliefs? And this is the most important level. All the others don't matter if you don't connect on this one. It is this third level that we'll deal with in this lesson and consider the things that go into creating the value level. A campaign message is not your list of proposals of what you will do if elected. It's also not a simple catchphrase or slogan. People are constantly bombarded with information. Don't waste their time and attention when you do have it. Your message must be simple, to the point, and repeated often. It should say why you are running and why people should vote for you and or your cause. Ronald Reagan ran on such issues as lower taxes, a strong national defense, less government regulation, and personal freedom grounded in moral living. But his campaign message was much more than the sum of his issues. He used rhetoric that painted a picture of a better future. He used to say that America is a shining city on a hill. He began speeches by saying things like, "My fellow Republicans and those independents and Democrats who are looking for a better future." He talked about how you and I should decide how to spend our money instead of government. Having a vision, then, that connects with voters' values helps them identify with you and to want to vote for you. Your vision must excite and attract voters. Your past experiences and who you are must demonstrate that you live what you say and that you walk the talk. There are 7 characteristics of a good message. The first is that it must be short. Second, it must be truthful and credible. Third, it must be persuasive and important to voters. Fourth, it must show contrast between you and your opponent. Fifth, it must speak from the heart. Sixth, it must be targeted. And seventh, it must be repeated again and again. In looking at this lesson, we want to have you go through what we call a campaign message exercise. In the written materials attached to this lesson, please find and complete the campaign message exercise. Have others help you develop a message about why voters should support you or your candidate or your group's issue. When you're done, grade yourself on each of the 7 characteristics of a good message that you see listed on the left-hand side of this screen. Why are you running for office and why do you support what you support? This is a question that you're going to have to address. Make a list of all the reasons why voters should vote for you or for your candidate or your party. Choose the most compelling reasons from the above and write a brief statement about your candidate. This should be the answer to the question, why are you running for this office, or why should I support you? Next, read the statement aloud and time yourself. Edit it until it takes less than a minute to say. If you go over a minute, you must trim your message. Take out any long phrases or explanations. Remember that voters will not be paying attention to all of your 10-minute speech. Next, we need to look at refining your campaign message. Grade your message against the 7 characteristics of a good message. Is it credible and truthful? Do you back up your statements with personal experience and from your past? Are you talking about things that will be important to your target voters? And do you offer a clear choice between your candidate and your major opponents? Now write your statement, taking into account those things that you missed the first time. Keep it under a minute. On a large piece of paper, draw the following table. What you want to do is you want to download the message box document and write out what you think people who agree or disagree with you say about you and or say about themselves. If you can understand these points of view, you can shape your message in such a way as to communicate a campaign vision. And so, for example, in the upper left-hand quadrant, we write down what we say about ourselves. In the upper right-hand quadrant, we write down what we say about them. In the lower left-hand quadrant, we write about what they say about us. And in the lower right-hand quadrant, we write about what they say about themselves. If done correctly, this message box should outline everything that could possibly be said during the campaign. It will help prepare you for the attacks you know will come, and you will be prepared to emphasize the positive parts of your campaign message while bringing to the voters' attention the failings of your opponent's position and or experience and or values. At this point, we'd like to suggest that you stop the video and with others in your campaign and work with others to discuss and create your campaign message. Be sure that you download the campaign message worksheet and the message box. Work through these exercises to create your campaign message and strategize on how best to communicate it. Take a moment now to discuss these ideas with others in your campaign.